What's new at Sephora, you're asking? Let's find out together. I went shopping at Sephora to pick up some of the new products that just launched recently, and I've also partnered on today's video with Sephora to bring you those products, and let's do a full face of new things, new exciting launches, things that I haven't tried yet, things that are still new to me that I want to put together in a beautiful look. Let's get right into it. Now, if you're not already a Beauty Insider member at Sephora, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. It is super easy and super quick, and it's free to sign up. So I'll make sure I leave a link in the description box below of this video so you could check that out. And also, one of the biggest reasons you should become a Beauty Insider member if you're not already is because you earn 1 point on every dollar you spend at Sephora, either online, in store, however you shop at Sephora. You earn 1 point for every dollar, and trust me when I tell you, that adds up really quickly. So let's dive into this bag of new releases, shall we? Let me just kind of talk to you briefly about what I picked up. I picked up the new Makeup by Mario, the Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum in the shade Light Medium, so we're going to be testing that out today. I also picked up a new product that I've been wanting to try. It's from the brand CL. It's a newer makeup brand. It's the SPF 30 Loose Powder, so we're going to be trying this powder out. And then speaking of powders, I did not buy this in store. I was actually gifted this by One Size Beauty, so big thank you Patrick Star and One Size Beauty for gifting me the new shade expansion of their powders. So I have the shades Marigold in the One Size Secure the Blur Loose Setting Powder. These are amazing powders. I've used them since they've come out, honestly. So like what, 2 years ago? Or at least 2 years I've been using these, and I love this formula. It's a really fantastic blurring formula powder. So the new shades that they came out with are Marigold, Rich Peach, and Ultra Peach. And I'm going to be testing out Ultra Peach for today's video because it's going to be more appropriate for my skin tone. I also have the new Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Luminous Foundation. I have the shade 235 and 230, and I think I'll actually be wearing or testing out 235 for this video because 230 is usually a little too light for me. So let's test this guy out. I'm excited to see what that looks like on. I also have, of course, I did pick this up during the Sephora savings event, but this is still new and fresh at Sephora. So this is the Forever Glow Star Filter from Dior. I have the shade 3. I'll be wearing this underneath the Fenty, and it's actually probably gonna give me maybe a little too much glow. We're gonna find out together. And for blush, I'm gonna be doing 2 different blushes. So one's gonna be a liquid. It's the Give Dewy Plump Collagen Cheek Tint. I got the shade Purple Irises. This looks really pretty, and I've heard good things about this too, so I'm excited to try this. And I'll also be using the new Rare Beauty. This is the powder blush. It's the more glowy, luminous one. I've had this for a little bit. I've used it many, many times. And for this video, I want to test out how it looks on top of a liquid blush. So I'll be combining these 2 new goodies today together. And another concealer that I also picked up, again, during the Sephora savings event a little while back, is the Say Slip Tint Concealer. I have the shade 5. I've used this a few times, but I haven't given it a really good, solid go. I don't have my complete thoughts on this yet, so we're gonna be testing this out as well. And I do know from my initial first impression that I wanted more coverage out of this, or at least I wanted more color correction first. So I'm gonna be combining it with another new product. This is a Cali Ray Golden Hour Hideaway Brightening Concealer. It's in the shade Golden Hour. So I'm gonna use this first, color correct, and then boom, put this on top and see how these work together and test them out as a combo. Another new item that I have that also came in PR from One Size Beauty along with the new shade expansion powders is their powder puff, and the powder puff shape is very unique. I saw this, I was like, oh wow, not something I've seen ever. So really cool, unique shape. They're very flat, very compact. I think I'll be using this powder puff because I want to test out the shape. It's a really cool shape. Like that just makes sense. If we're like chiseling and like cutting, sharpening, all those things, baking, this is a really cool, unique shape. So definitely be using that as well. To start this makeup look, I'm actually be using an eyeshadow palette again that I also picked up during the Sephora savings event. Sorry to keep referencing that savings event that passed, but it will come back up again like it always does. And also that is one of the perks of being a Beauty Insider member, is you know when it's coming up. You'll know when you have access to that savings event. So again, more incentive to sign up in the link below. But I'm going to be using the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. This is the newer palette. I've used it a few times. I've used it in a few of my YouTube lives that are really fun on Sundays. And I'm going to use it again for this video today and just do a different look. So I've dipped into primarily these shades that you see around here. Let's do something different to start. I'm actually gonna grab my N13 brush with BK Beauty, and I'm gonna dip into this shade that I have not touched as of yet. The bigger pans in this palette are the creams, and then the smaller pans along the side are actually the powders. So right now I'm picking up a decent amount of this very pale pink with my N13 blending brush, and I'm gonna start by sweeping this all across my eye. Okay, now that that cream is on, I'm gonna dip into the like-minded shade in powder with the same brush, and I'm gonna use this to lock that cream shade into place. Very pretty, very soft, pale pink. I am gonna go for more of a monochromatic look, I'm hoping. But either way, we're gonna be testing out together. We'll see where this wind takes us, you know? We'll see where the wind blows and takes us for this makeup look, but either way, we're gonna have fun testing out some new products and new releases. That is very pretty. Same brush. I'm gonna use this brush to now dip into just a bit of this color right here, this more soft shade that I have used before, but I do know I love this shade and it's gonna create like a really soft blush tone vibe in the crease. Going for more of a halo eye, and then we'll do more of a strong wing liner. These shadows do blend on very nicely. They're very well pigmented. I mean, you can't go wrong with Dennis & Mark's eyeshadow formulas. She's got some incredible formulations, especially with eyeshadows. She really knows what she's doing with her eyeshadows. And the cream with the powder idea in this palette is just genius. Okay, so just building up that halo eye, creating some depth. Very nice. Now I'm going to switch over to my N11 brush with BK Beauty. It's my angled brush. And now wing liner. I know, shocking, right? Me doing a wing liner on my channel, but here we are. I know it's a big surprise. Let's do something more in this tone right here. So I'm going to dip into actually the cream first in this palette, or in this shade. Grab some on my N11. Now let's do a little wing liner. So I'm going to start at the edge of my lash line and then bring it carefully out, just creating some shape. So I still want this to be nice and tapered, so I'm going pretty tight along my top lash line as I get towards like across my actual lash line, just so it's still nice and soft and not too overly dramatic. Let's repeat it on this side. Still using the cream, pull it straight out and then right across. Using the same brush, I'm gonna now dip into this much darker shade called Evermore and just kind of lock this in and intensify this line with this darker shadow. And I'm just gonna keep this darker shade literally just on the outer portion of my eyelid. I'm not gonna bring it all the way across like I did the other one. All right, moving on to mascara. I'm gonna be using a new favorite of mine. This is the Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water mascara. I have not been able to put this mascara down since I picked it up. It is such a fantastic tubing mascara. The great thing about tubing mascaras is it actually comes off so easily when you're washing your face. It comes off in a tube, so it's not harsh. You don't have to like sit there and scrub the heck out of your eyes to get this off. It comes off really nice and gently, so really a great formula if that's something that, you know, you struggle with, is getting your mascara off. At the end of the day, this one comes off nice and easy and very gently, but also while you're wearing it, it does give you a really beautiful dramatic lash. Been loving this. Especially love the wand. The wand is just like the perfect size where you can get in there and coat your lashes, but it's not so big where it's just messy and you end up hitting your freshly applied eyeshadow or your eyelids, or, you know, getting it all over the place. So I love it for so many reasons. Really, really a great formula. And we're gonna dive into another product from Cali Ray in just a second right after this, because I'm gonna use that under eye brightening and color corrector next before we get into the rest of the complexion products. So one coat, and now let's move on to 2 coats on this side. But really amazing thickness, volume, length, does it all. I mean, look at that. That's nice. That is a really fantastic mascara. I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead and not get too clumpy and just add too much product, because I can just go crazy with that mascara and keep building and building. I'm gonna dive into another Cali Ray product, and that is another product that I've been loving and have not been able to put down. It's been a daily go-to of mine because the way this has been able to color correct my dark circles has been amazing, and it also just lays so nice under all the concealers I usually use on like a daily rotation. So that's also why I'm excited to test it out underneath the Say Slip Tint Concealer, because I just have not given this enough of a chance. I want to see what this looks like on top of this Cali Ray. Okay, so color corrector is done. I'm already feeling so much better. My redness is reduced. My dark circles are definitely reduced and more concealed at this point. So we're at a good point, and we can now move on to the very beautiful Dior Forever Glow Star Filter in the shade 3 and pump it out. My cute little palette. I'm gonna grab my N17 brush with BK Beauty and dive right into this. And this is gonna give a ton of glow. This also does give a little hint of coverage. Not a ton of coverage by any means, but it is like a little hint of coverage. So you do wanna make sure you get the right shade for you, because it does offer a little hint of coverage. But it does give a really pretty lit from within glow underneath your makeup. But I wanna try it with the new Fenty foundation, because I do feel like it offers a lot of glow. However, it doesn't offer a ton of hydration, believe it or not. You would think that a product like this would feel really glowy, but also really like juicy and hydrating on your skin. it doesn't. And I found this out recently because I did apply this. I have one in my makeup kit too, and I did apply this on a client of mine that has especially dry skin. And I used it in place of what I normally put on her. And I normally put on her, first of all, lots of hydration, lots of moisturizer, but I also put on her the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. And that's not particularly hydrating in any way, but it usually sits on her skin really beautifully and it ends up looking and feeling really nice, or so she tells me. She says it feels really nice on her skin, and it looks beautiful. So I always do that, and I switch it up just to try something new. And I noticed this felt like it was going on a little bit drier than I would expect it to. So I think in combination with a more hydrating foundation, it's gonna be a really good match. So I'm excited to pair these two together to see how they perform. So I'm gonna blend this all over. You can see it gives like quite an iridescent, very, very luminous glow to the skin. It's semi-metallic, but not in an unflattering way. So just keep that in mind. Don't be afraid that I said metallic. It's still like very beautiful on the skin. And I think it still has a beautiful, filtered, more smooth quality to it. So yeah, it's metallic. It's definitely like very, very shiny. It's not unflattering on your skin. So, okay, so now that that's on and blended all over, we have a nice glowy base to build on top of, and we're going to shake up this new Fenty foundation and give it a good shake before I try it on. So this is the shade 235. Same thing, I'm gonna pump it out on my palette. I have more oily skin, and I know I talk about this a lot, but my skin is definitely more on the oily side, so I'm very curious to see how this very hydrating formula is gonna wear throughout the day. So I'll have to keep you posted on that in a different video. So definitely a huge departure from what the original Fenty foundation is like, the Pro Filter Matte Foundation. Holy smokes, is that a matte foundation? Like very, very much a true matte foundation. And that's great if you have, again, really oily skin, if you want to have like a more matte look to your complexion. I like the feeling of it for that reason, but this is like the complete opposite, which I think Fenty was definitely missing a full-on glowy foundation because they just had the Pro Matte and then they had more like skin tints and tint sticks and things of that nature. So not like an actual glowy foundation. So glad that they came out with this. It's gonna make a lot of people with more dry skin who still want some coverage very, very happy. It looks really pretty. You can still see that forever glow coming through. So it is adding some additional glow to this foundation. Overall, the way it's sitting on my skin is looking really nice. Again, I can't wait to actually fully test it and wear it out and see what it does with my skin. But first impression is this is very beautiful on. The coverage is really pretty. It doesn't look like it's heavy at all. It definitely feels really hydrating on my skin. It has like a very lightweight feeling to it, which is also nice. Like it doesn't feel greasy. It doesn't feel like it's overly juicy and glowy on my skin. It just feels like a really nice balance. Like hydrating, glowy, but not like over the top where I feel like I'm like dripping in olive oil. And the shade is just a touch too dark. So I'm gonna bring this down my neck. All right. We can move on from the Fenty Soft Lit Luminous Foundation. We're gonna move on to the new Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. It's a miracle that I remembered that name. Like I mentioned, I picked up the shade Light Medium. Really excited to try this. The employees at Sephora, at my local Sephora, I forgot that this had launched, and I walked through to pick up new items, like new things that were on my list I want to check out. And then one of the employees, who's so sweet, she was like, "Did you pick this up yet?" And I said, "Oh my God, no, I forgot it was even out." She's like, "You have to get it." I'm like, "Do I really?" She's like, "Yes, you have to get it." So sold. She told me to get it. I listened and I put it in my basket, and I'm really excited to try this. But she also pointed out something really unique that I did not know. So this not only has a pump for application, it also, if you twist it up, it has a sponge applicator. So pump and a sponge. That's really innovative. That is really, really cool. And it really is cool, especially for like makeup artists who want to, instead of like pushing this out and like, you know, trying to get this off the applicator so they're not like cross-contaminating, they could just use the pump. Boom, you're done. Like very, very thoughtful, very mindful, and just very innovative. So this is mine, so I'm gonna go in straight with the little sponge applicator, which I love, and we're gonna test this out. Okay, so she did mention, she's like, they're very natural, they're sheer, so I shouldn't have any super high expectations of it being like very, very intensely pigmented. She did mention, she was like, these are gonna be more natural. And I said noted, and then I forgot, and now I'm surprised again at how sheer it is, but let's test this out. Let's get a decent amount on. In fact, let's do the nose too. This definitely does feel very serum-like. I mean, incredibly serum-y and light. Wait, just do a little here, and let's see what this does. I'm gonna blend this out with my N15 brush and see what kind of sculpting we can get out of this. Yeah, so very natural. I mean, it is quite natural. Mario has a lot of sculpting products and bronzing products, and I do feel like even though he has so many, this is still different from what he's launched previously. Like, this is definitely still very different from the one in like the compact, like the soft sculpt skin enhancer, which is also very sheer and very natural, but it's a completely different formula, completely different texture. This is definitely very unique to the brand. Like, this is not like the others, even though he does, like I said, he has many sculpting and bronzing and shaping type products. This is still very unique. I am not so sure what I think of this. I like the way it blended out on my nose. I think it actually looks the best on my nose, to be honest, but let's do a little bit more because I like a lot on my forehead just to add shape. So let's layer some on the forehead and see if we can get a bit more impact. I mean, it definitely melts almost instantly into my skin. So if you're looking for a product that is very like minimalistic, very natural, and doesn't look or feel makeup-y, you know, this is going to be something to check out. This is definitely like very user-friendly and just very natural, like I said. So if you want natural, this is going to give it to you. I mean, I could barely see it on the monitor, to be quite honest. I want to add a touch more because I want to just mess around with this a bit more and see how it can layer. It layered nice on the forehead. The cheeks are usually a little bit more difficult to layer. Okay, pretty. I mean, it's very pretty. It's very, very soft. You know, my aesthetic is I like maybe a little more makeup than this, but I appreciate, again, that it's different and it is unique. It's not like all the other sculpting products that he has. So I respect that a lot. I definitely respect it. I have to play with it more. I have to see what it looks like with maybe, you know, a tinted moisturizer or something with more minimal coverage, because right now I feel like it's kind of melting into this coverage and not really standing out for that reason. I think that it's going to be best suited for more of like your skin tint days or your tinted moisturizer type days, not necessarily a medium to full coverage foundation type day. This is not the product for that. All that to say, we're testing it out. We're doing the hard work. We're putting in the effort to test out these products and to see what they do together. And, you know, that way, you know, as a viewer at home, like what to do or what not to do. And you know, ultimately you can learn from my mistakes. And I think that this is not the best complexion or foundation to apply this product with. It's not bad. I just think it's gonna be best suited, like I said, for tinted moisturizers and things like that are more lightweight and more natural. They're gonna pair better with that type of natural sculpting product. So diving right into the Slip Tint Concealer in the shade 5. This is a very thin, very, very lightweight formula. So again, probably would go honestly hand in hand with the Makeup by Mario in terms of like the way it feels on, the way it looks on. More of a natural product. Really a great concealer for dry skin because it has a nice hydrating feeling to it. So if you have very dry under eyes, very dehydrated skin, you're gonna love the way this concealer feels. However, it doesn't offer the most coverage. It's more of a natural finish concealer, and this is what I noticed the most about it when I was first testing it out, like when I first picked it up. Like I mentioned, I picked it up during the Sephora savings event, so a little bit ago. And when I was using it under my eyes, that's where I need just the most coverage because I have dark circles, like I've talked about a million times on this channel. So for me, I definitely needed to pair this type of concealer on top of, like I said, a color corrector, just so I have that balance going into it. And then that way this can just give me some more brightness and a little bit of coverage, and it's good enough, right? Gonna blend this out with my N14. I did use this in other areas to highlight, which is gonna be really nice because that foundation is a touch, like I mentioned, a touch too dark for me. So by blending on this as a highlighter, it's gonna help to balance out that slightly too dark foundation. So highlighting above my eyes, all onto the cheekbone, right above where that Makeup by Mario soft sculpt is. So right above it, which is actually bringing it out and further enhancing it just a touch in like a very natural way. So you can see too, this concealer is definitely thin. It's very spreadable. So kind of keep that in mind. If you are using it, you know, it's gonna spread out unless you let it dry down a bit and get a little bit more tacky, where like the coverage is more stable and it's less like watery. It's gonna be very movable and spreadable and very expandable. So just a little forewarning. It's not like one of those thicker formulas that stays in place where you can like really keep it and have control over like where it's going as you're blending. This one definitely moves and spreads quite a bit. Now I am excited to try this with the One Size blurring powder because that powder, first of all, will make your makeup absolutely budge proof. Like it will not move at all. It will stay in place for hours on end. So I'm excited to try it with this concealer because I've only ever tried this concealer and put my Givenchy Prism Libre powder on top. And although that's a nice combo, I did feel like if I used more of like a thicker powder, like the one size, it would also add to the coverage that I was wanting and hoping with this concealer. So we're just testing out different combos today, you know, different like combinations of new products together, which is always fun. Gonna go back to my N17, blend out the edges of the rest of that concealer and really push it onto my skin. Tap it in. Okay, now before I set my under eyes, let's dive into another new product that we're testing out. It's the Give Dewy Plump Collagen Cheek Tint. Again, very excited to try these. They look beautiful. The shades look beautiful, and this shade just looked really fun, and it's gonna go with the eye makeup clearly, which is what I was going for. So let's test this out before I set my under eyes. Since this is a liquid, has a really cute component. You know, I wonder if I should shake this. Actually, let's shake this just in case for safe measure. Does it say to shake it? It doesn't, but this is supposed to plump and smooth and hydrate your skin. It says it's packed with hyaluronic acid and collagen boosters. So lots of claims for a blush, but we're here for it and we're here to try it. So let's swipe it on. Okay, so it's a lot more cool tone against my eyes, but we're gonna make this work. Grabbing my N17, the same one that I blended out my foundation with, we're gonna tap this in to my complexion and to my cheeks. That is a lot more natural than you would ever expect it to be, right? Like very natural. Okay, not bad. It's funny, I feel like I'm using a lot of products that have the same texture. Like all three of these products have a very thin, very liquidy, very lightweight texture to them. So again, the same thing goes for this that I said about the Makeup by Mario. I feel like this would be best suited for your more natural skin tint kind of days, and not necessarily layering this on top of a medium to full coverage foundation like I just did. Even though this is beautiful and hydrating and glowy, it still is a medium coverage. So this kind of product, this natural finished product, is kind of getting a little lost in the shuffle on top of it. So I'd like to see this definitely on top of more of a natural coverage. I bet this would be gorgeous on top of my Tower 28 Sunny Days Tinted Moisturizer that I absolutely love. Okay, so a couple things. It did blend out very nice and very easy. I layered it. It layered nice. It does look smooth on my skin. I have to say it actually looks very smooth for being like a more of a tint and something that's more like sheer. It looks very smooth and very beautiful on my cheeks. But I'm excited to now put this on top because I think it's going to be a good pairing, especially because this is so much more natural than I was expecting it to be. Like a lot more natural. So I think it's gonna be a really good mix. Okay, so now let's dive into the new shade expansion, or one of the new shades from One Size Beauty in the shade Ultra Peach. I'm gonna pour some out into the cap, grab that new fun shaped sponge, and I'm gonna pick up a decent amount, pre-blend it, and I wanna focus it in this area of my face because I think it'd be a touch too dark for under my eyes. Can you see that blurring though? Like, look at that. Like that instantly blurred my skin heavily. I mean, it feels light, but that is quite, wow, very, very blurring. So now I'm gonna set my forehead with this, and I'm gonna use a different shade. I'm gonna use the original shade in this powder to set my under eyes because I don't want to alter the shade under my eyes. I want to keep the brightness basically. Okay, so let me grab my original shade from the One Size Beauty powder. Do the same thing. I'm gonna tap off a bit into the cap. And you know, I'm not gonna use the powder puff under my eyes for this part. I'm gonna grab my N14, tap into it, and then lock in my under eye concealer. There we go. Yeah, I'm glad I switched out the shade for my under eyes because it would probably dull down the appearance of that lighter concealer and make it just not bright anymore. So this is the original shade and one that I use in my kit all the time. I love this shade so much. But it's pretty awesome they now have 5 shades. 5, right? I think 5. 1, 2, yeah, 5 shades in the One Size Beauty powder. That's awesome. Okay, so under eyes are smooth and blurred. We still have a lot of glow going on all around here and on the chin, which is nice. We have nice balance, but I'm set in the areas that I want to be locked in and set, which is always very important. I'm going to jump back to the beautiful Danessa Myricks palette. Let's dip into the cream right here and just do a little extra shading on the bottom lash line using the cream. And I'm also using my N12 brush and just blending this underneath my eye just to tie this look together. Now switching to an Angie Hana Flashy A504. I love this brush. I'm going to dip into now the shade that I used in each inner and outer corner of the eye, this powder, and buff this on top of that cream. Now hear me out. Something's just missing with my eyes. I want a little sparkle. I don't want it to be fully matte. So I'm grabbing my Fenty Beauty. This is one of my favorite products from Fenty. It's the Diamond Balm in the shade Rosé Rave. I'm going to use this with my fingertips. Look how pretty that is. And I want to like further enhance this halo inspired eye and just drop that down the middle of my eyelid. It's just missing some kind of contrast, you know? Kind of contrast that only a shimmer can give you. Nice, there we go. That is what I'm talking about. Look at that. That's pretty. Okay, eyes are done for the most part. I don't think I'm gonna add anything else to this eye makeup look. I'm gonna dive back to my cheeks and I'm gonna add the Soft Pinch more glowy blush from Rare Beauty. It's in the shade Hope. I love Hope. I think Hope is so pretty. And I'm gonna grab a clean N15 brush, dip into Hope, and tap this on top. Now, one thing about these blushes is you really want to make sure that you don't bring them in any areas of your face that has like larger pores or maybe some more texture. I'd say if you have a lot of texture to your skin or if you have larger pores, I'd say either maybe skip this blush because it could definitely enhance texture and things like that on your skin if you are not careful with the placement. So for me, I don't bring it anywhere past this midway point of my cheek because in this inner part right here, that's where I have more larger pores, and if I bring it too far in, it really magnifies and brings out that texture and enhances it way too much. So I keep it really high up. That's been the best way for me to apply this blush that I've experienced so far. So if you have this blush already, if you've been struggling with it for those reasons, try that out, or try pairing it especially with more of a matte smooth base, so like a more matte foundation, a more mattifying powder underneath to really smooth your skin first, and then you can layer this on top, and then it actually works really, really well. So just a little tip, just something I picked up by using this product quite a few times at this point. So if you get it right, you really get it right because it is a beautiful blush, but if you get it wrong, it could be a little tricky and you might not love the finish if you're putting in areas of the skin where you just have more, like I said, texture or fine lines or larger pores and things like that. So just something to take into consideration. So now I'm going to buff a little bit further up towards my temple. It does give a gorgeous glow. Add a bit more. And I am going to take whatever's left over on my brush and sweep it across my nose. Very pretty. I'm really loving this monochromatic, more blush tone, soft pink look that we have done together. I think this is really pretty. Really, really pretty. Love that. Very spring, very fresh. And my skin is feeling amazing. I have to say that Fenty foundation does feel really, really, really nice. Like, again, I am very anxious to see how it's gonna wear throughout the rest of my day, but so far it feels amazing on my skin. I do have one more powder that I need to test out or that I picked up for this video, but now I'm wondering, do I use it for this video? Let's just add a little bit. It's the CL Filter and Protect SPF 30 powder, which is so interesting, so innovative. Now I know there's powders on the market that have SPF or like reapplication that they've existed for a long time, at least like 2 decades, I want to say. But there's never been a loose one. And oh, this actually also comes with a powder puff. That's cute. Mine has a little leak going on. So let's just open this up and let's just add a thin layer. I'm going to grab the back side of my N17. I'm going to dip into the powder. I'm not going to use the powder puff, and I'm going to swirl this into the cap, and I just want to do a light dusting just to try it out and to see how it lays on top of my makeup. Very lightweight. Ooh, that feels nice. That feels really nice. Doesn't smell like anything. Wow, it's very blurring too. It's not as blurring as that One Size powder. That is like the ultimate blurring powder, but this is very, very pretty. Very nice. Feels very thin, lightweight. I am, okay, definitely anxious to try this and more videos to come, so stay tuned to that. But so far, first impression, I picked up the shade 01, by the way. There's only 2 shades. There's a 02 and an 01. I have the shade 01, but I'm very, very anxious to try this in future videos for sure. But so far, I like that. That feels very, very nice. I'm gonna go in and set my makeup with a setting spray, and I just wanna add some more glow back to my complexion. I did layer at this point quite a few powder products, as you saw, so let's bring some hydration back in and really lock this in. And for that, I'm going back to my LYS Natural Finish Skin Loyalty Setting Spray. This you have to give a good shake to. It's kind of a thicker setting spray, like in terms of like the formula. And I always do a little test spray because you never know with the nozzles. If you haven't tried something in a minute, or if you haven't used something in a minute, it has a sprayer, it could get clogged up very easily, and then you don't want to have that mess to deal with. Pre-test it out like that. Okay, now let's go in and set. It's a very, very fine mist, which I love. Oh yes, that's exactly what I needed. I need some like extra hydration back to my skin after all the powders that we were testing out. So we can move on to lips. And for lips, this is still new. It's not like super duper new at Sephora, but it is still relatively new. It's the Westman Atelier lipsticks. They launched, how many lipsticks did they actually launch? I can't remember how many they actually launched, but I have 3. But this is definitely my favorite shade. It's the Je Rêve. I have no idea how to say that. I have no clue, but I'll link it. Don't you worry. We're gonna try this out, and let me actually pick out a lip liner to go with this. For lip liner, another LYS product that I love. I love their lip liners. They're fantastic. This is the lip liner in the shade Soulful. I'm gonna line my lips first with Soulful and then go on top with that Westman Atelier lipstick. This is a really nice neutral brown. Liner is done. Time for lipstick. Very pretty shade. And I think what I want to do is just kind of blend this out a bit. Give it a softer look. A little more liner just for some contrast. These are very pigmented lipsticks, just an FYI. Ooh, love that. I love that. But wait, there's more. Okay, to finish up this look, I have a new favorite gloss that I've been wearing constantly. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Big Lip Plump Gasm in the shade Pillow Talk Fair to Medium. There's 2 shades to choose from. I have the fair to medium one, and it's a beautiful gloss. It's very plumpy and it's very nice, and I really got suckered into it and I love it. It's like a gorgeous gloss. So I'm gonna top this beautiful Westman Atelier lipstick with the Pillow Talk gloss and just add a little dimension and a little shine right in the center. And that is it, my friends. Okay, well that was a blast. I always have fun testing and trying new products and new releases that are at Sephora. These were so much fun. Comment below, let me know what you plan on trying as far as like the new releases go. What do you have your eye on? What's in your cart? What are you gonna pick up, if anything? What sparked your interest the most in this video? Comment below, tell me what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you. And big thank you again to Sephora for partnering with me on today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye.